Welcome to the call, Audra. Welcome to the call. Glad to see you here. Audra, if you don't mind me asking, who invited you to the call tonight?
I am here with Kimberly Howard.
Awesome, awesome. Shout out to Kim Howard. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the Wealth Formula. We'll get started in a few minutes here. Hi, Tammy. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the call. Glad to see you here.
Thank you.
All right, you know what? We can get started. I'm gonna share the screen in a little bit, and we can just hop right into it. All righty. Give me 1 second here. All righty, I just threw the screen up. Let me know if you all can see the screen. Give me some ones in the chat, some engagement here. Just let me know you can see the screen. All righty. All right, thank you for that. All right, so with that being said, let's hop right into it. This is the Wealth Formula. My name is Kyrie Jones. I'm an associate on this platform of OIC. Here to serve. It's an honor to serve. Something that I don't take for granted, and I'm really looking forward to serving you all, and hopefully this is beneficial for you. Um, if someone invited you here tonight, please ensure that you get back to them after this and tell them how it went, give them some feedback, and connect with them. All righty, but let's hop right into it. So we got the Wealth Formula here. I'm going to start out with the question. How you doing, Mr. Sunni Samad? Glad you can make it to the call. I'm going to start out with a question. Would you agree? Would you all agree that most Americans do not understand how money works? Let me get some ones in the chat, some emojis. If y'all would agree with that statement at the bottom in red right there. Yep. I believe it's a factual statement as well. And the day I meet the person that understands how money totally works, me and him going to be connected and locked in 100%. All right, but with that being said, let's hop right into it in a second. All righty. So the importance of financial literacy. So we all know that it's important to understand your financials, understand how money works within this country of America, right? It's a capitalistic country. And money is the ecosystem. So we have two languages, right? We have the poverty language and the wealth language. Now, the poverty language is something that maybe a lot of us are familiar with, right? We grew up hearing this in our households by our parents, the people around us, and it wasn't their fault, right? They just didn't know any better at the moment, right? So the poverty language just sounds something like this: go to school, get good grades, and get a good job, right? How many people heard that in the household? I know for sure I heard that in the household, right? When you find a good job, keep it, hold on to it, don't let go of it, right? Sound familiar, right? Money is the root of all evil. The rich are robbing the poor, right? Like a victim mindset a little bit. Let's just be real on this platform, right? We're gonna be real tonight. Money doesn't buy happiness. They don't pay much, right? You get your first job. Man, I got my first job. I was a busser at Barnes and Noble, right? I was a busser, bussing tables. I saw my paycheck and I seen they took a lot out in taxes, and I was upset because I was busting my behind busting those tables. But anyway, let's keep on going. Right? The rich should pay more taxes, right? Everybody says the rich should pay more taxes, but they are financially literate, so they know how to avoid taxes, right? And last but not least, things have gotten really expensive. This is a fact. It's a true statement, right? Inflation is really high at the moment, but that's not an excuse for us to not transition our dialogue to the wealth language, right? So the wealth language sounds a little bit like this: go to school, get good grades, and start a business, right? I'll tell a little story. So when I interned at Thomas Jefferson University, there was a lady who was my boss. This was around COVID time, and I'm super happy because I'm getting into stocks and stuff like that. You know what she told me? She told me, well, I mean, my granddaughter just invested in Lululemon. her granddaughter. She was already putting her granddaughter and her legacy onto this type of information at an early age, right? So something that we all need to be doing on this platform as well. All right. A job is a good place to start, not a good place to finish. It's called the corporate ladder, not the corporate bed, right? We don't want to stay there. It's good to get your feet wet, get off the ground, but that's not where we're going to make our living at. Money isn't everything, but it ranks right up there with oxygen, right? Money is best exchanged for experiences, not things. And last but not least, don't work for your money. Teach your money to work for you. We're going to get into that last statement a little bit in the next few slides. So let's move on here. All righty. Money mastery. You are either mastering money or money is mastering you. My football coach growing up, he went by a phrase that I still live by to this day. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. There is no in between. No in between, right? And the same is with money, right? You're either mastering it or it's mastering you. So, what is wealth, right? Wealth is the byproduct of money making money for you. When your money makes money for you, you are abundant, you have excess, you have surplus, right? You have extra. That is wealth, right? And we can't get wealthy trading our time for money. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. Um, and you'll see that once we get into this formula here. So, but we got a great quote by my mentor, our executive business director, Mr. Suni Samad. Money grows on trees when you realize money itself is the seed and the harvest. It's the seed and the harvest. That's a gem right now. That's a gem right there. I hope we all taking notes, right? I hope we all locked in. Because this is some valuable information right here. When I first got it, man, everything changed. Everything changed for sure. All righty. So the wealth formula, right? So the wealth formula, I mean, when you think of a formula, right? The word formula is a bunch of things formed, put together to create an outcome, right? So here's the key components that you need in order to create wealth. So we have time plus capital plus rate of return minus inflation and taxes equals wealth, right? I'll go through it again. Time plus capital plus rate of return minus inflation and taxes equals wealth, right? So if you look at this formula here, we have three components that we need to capitalize on in order to beat inflation and taxes. That's pretty much the name of the ball game, right? We need to have time, we need to have funds to invest, and we need to have a good rate of return, a good percentage that we can compound and get extra income off of our interest. All righty. So, like I said, time, key component. Time builds wealth, right? Allow your money enough time for interest to compound and build up your wealth, right? So we have an example here. We have two, real cool people. We got Mr. Start Early and Mr. Start Late. They're saving $3,600 a year. That's $300 a month at an 8% interest rate. That's a pretty good interest rate right there. All right, so we're going put it in layman terms for everybody here. We got Mr. Start Early, Mr. Start Late, right? They 25 years old. They had like, a little kickback, right? They had a cookout, busting it up with each other. Mr. Start Early, he pulls up to his guy, Mr. Start Late. He says, "Yo, bro, did you hear about this new investment that's pretty popular right now? A lot of people making some, a good return on it." Mr. Start Late says, "No, what's that?" He says, we're gonna get into it. He says it's a product that allows me to compound my money that I'm putting into it each and every month. Right now, I'm investing $300. At the end of this year, I'm gonna have $3,888 that I can access. Right? Mr. Starlet says that sounds good, bro, but I need my 300 right now. I'm not really gonna do that at the moment. So, I'll get with you next time. Right? So as we see, as these 3 years pass by, we got Mr. Start Early. He started off saving $300 a month at age 25. He is now age 28 and he has $17,520 that he can access, right? All right, let's fast forward. All right, so Mr. Start Early, he's still investing, right? At age 31, now we see Mr. Start Late. He hasn't gotten started yet because he starts late, right? And that's not a problem, right? But he got started a little later, so he's gonna have to, you know, can't reap the benefits at the moment. So Mr. Start Early and Mr. Start Late, they meet up again, right? 31 years old, right? They had a baby shower, right? And Mr. Start Late, he's like, he's having a baby, right? Mr. Start Late's having a baby, him and his lovely fiance, right? Or whatever his situation may be. And they are in a situation where he's gonna need some money. Mr. Start Early comes up to him, he says, "Hey, bro, you might want to protect your family, right? And get an investment for them that can really compound and benefit all of you." So Mr. Start Late, he thinks about it. He asks him a question. He's like, "Man, how's that investment going for you?" He said, "Man, right now I got $34,692 that I can access." Right. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna get into that." So Mr. Start Late, he starts at age 32 and he starts investing that $300 a month. He does that for 7 years. Year seven, he has $41,355. Now, as we look here, we'll dive into it a little bit more, but just notice that Mr. Start Early, he's not investing that same $300 a month anymore, right? He's pretty much saving that income and letting compound interest do all the work for him. Mr. Start Early has his money making money, right? All right, so we're gonna fast forward. Now we got Mr. Start Early, Mr. Start Late. We'll fast forward to age 48. Like we said, Mr. Start Early wasn't saving as much. Yeah, didn't have to save as much, but we got Mr. Start Late here, who's still investing that $300, right? Now, they had a golf outing, right? And Mr. Start Late is all excited because he wants to tell his his buddy that put him on to this good information that he got $131,221 saved up from that investment, right? So he asked Mr. Start Early. He said, "How much you got in there now?" He said, "I mean, I got a good 128,000." He's like, "Okay, okay, yeah, I got a little bit more than you now." But little do they know, right? The total contribution. So Mr. Start Early only had to invest $25,000 in order to reach this number, right? Throughout the years because he took advantage of time, right? Time, a key component. Meanwhile, for Mr. Start Late to get around the same amount of money as Mr. Start Early, he had to invest almost $40,000 more. So, you know, time and that rate of return are key components when it comes to your money compounding. Before we fast forward, right? I want to share a quote by Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, well, hold up, but let's put some ones in the chat if we think this is all valuable, right? If we still locked in, I want to make sure everybody's locked in here. Just want to make sure this is valuable for everybody. All right, all right. Thank you for that. So yeah, quote by Albert Einstein. I mean, I don't know about y'all. I didn't meet the man, but I heard he was a really smart guy, right? He said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. The eighth wonder of the world, right? So that must mean it's very valuable in all aspects of life, right? Compound interest. All right, so let's move on. All righty, so the rate of return. The rate of return. We got a good quote up here. The quality of your soil determines the quantity of your harvest. That is very true. So we have the rule of 72. If you are not familiar with the rule of 72, it states that you divide the number 72 by the percentage that you have there. That'll be the amount of time it takes for your money to double, right? So we got a 1% rate here. 72 divided by 1, we have 72. It's going to take that interest rate 72 years for it to double, right? So that's some of our savings accounts, right? That's some of our bank accounts that we have our money sitting in, right? Not really going to make a good splash for us, right? So we move on to the 4%, 72 divided by 4, we got 18. Every 18 years, your money is going to double, right? So we get the gist here. We're going to move on to this 10% rate, right? 72 divided by 10, about 7.2 years, your money is going to double every 7.2 years, right? So a smart man said, it's easy to make a lot of money in a short amount of time, right? You can make money fast. You don't have to make it slow, right? So with a good interest rate, a good rate of return, you can do that. Alrighty, so y'all may be asking, where are we going to put this money? I hear the rate of return. I hear all this good stuff about compound interest. Where are we going to put this money, right? So let's just look at what the banks are doing, right? The banks are, they're not going anywhere, right? They're going to be here for a very long time. And they've been here forever, right? So Bank of America holds 24 billion in cash value life insurance. 24 billion with a B, right? That's a lot of money right there. Wells Fargo, 19 billion. We got JP Morgan, 12 billion, PNC, 10 billion, Truist Bank, 7 billion. So these banks are taking our money that we put in our checking accounts and our savings accounts, right? And they're putting it in this asset, life insurance, right? Right? That's powerful right there, right? Alrighty. So we're going to go into how your money grows, right? We got three ways your money can grow. We have the fixed state. So pretty much at a fixed rate, the rate is going to be the same. It's not really going to change. Well, it's not going to change at all. The rate will be the same and your money will grow at the same rate each and every year, right? So now we got the variable rate. Your variable rate, it varies, right? It goes up, it comes down. It's not really predictable. You can't really predict where and how that money is going to come into you, right? And last but not least, we have indexed. So as you can see, with an indexed rate, you're going to be pretty much going up. And whenever the market rate comes down, your money will plateau. So for example, well, in layman's terms, what we're saying is your money will not participate in the losses, right? That's what we're saying. As you see there, it goes up. Oh, the market came down. Nah, we not messing with that, right? You're right. We went up, market came down. We not getting into that. All righty. So inflation, right? So when we went over inflation in the beginning, we said inflation was one of the things we have to beat in order to accumulate wealth, right? So let's look at the last 10 years at the inflation rate, right? The inflation rate was 2.91%. And the value of your dollar decreases annually an average of 3%. So if we just keep everything the way it is, we are not going to be beating the inflation rate. And over time, our money will be decreasing, not increasing, right? If that makes sense, put some ones in the chat, some eights in the chats, right? If that makes sense to you and this is clicking for you, let's lock in. So unless your money grows at a rate that supersedes the inflation rate, you are losing money. That's exactly what we just said. If you can't beat that inflation rate, we are losing money. And I heard that the inflation rate is going to be going up to about 5%. We see the gas prices, right? We see the price of groceries, everything like that. So we need to be able to beat this rate. All righty. So let's get into taxes, right? We had to beat inflation. Now let's see taxes, right? So you got with these investment accounts, you got, three ways your money is taxed. It's tax now, tax deferred, and tax free, right? So your tax now is going to be your mutual funds, your stocks, your CDs, things of that nature is going to be taxed immediately. If Uncle Sam see your money go in that bucket, he's going to pick at it, right? Immediately. Now we got tax deferred. Tax deferred is pretty much you putting off the taxes for a future date, right? So, for example, you put your money in this account, it's not taxed immediately, but when you go to grab it, and Uncle Sam see that you're going to grab it, he going to want a piece of it, right? For example, you try to withdraw from your 401k, Uncle Sam wants 10%. It's a 10% penalty, right? And let's look at the tax-free retirement. Tax-free retirement, Uncle Sam he doesn't want a piece of that, right? That's your hard-earned money going into I guess they're, incentivizing us for being a little smart and having some knowledge, right? Knowing about this information on the wealth formula. But yeah, if your money goes into this bucket here, the Roth IRA and life insurance, it's not going to be taxed, right? All right. So, all right, we got the wealth formula strategy. So before I dive into this, let me go back a little bit because this is a point that I wanted to harp on with the tax-free retirement and the tax-deferred retirement. So if you look at it, right, we said inflation's going up 5%. So if inflation is going up to 5%, what do we think the inflation rate, what do we think the taxes are going to do in the future? They're going to go up or they're going to stay where they at. Exactly. They'll most likely go up, right? They'll most likely go up. So in the future, say you try to withdraw from your 401k for an emergency, the tax rate is not, now is 10%, but the tax law could change at any time. So say in the future, that 10% becomes 15% just because you want to get access to your hard-earned money. That's kind of crazy, right? All righty. So let's get into the wealth formula strategy, right? We're going to get into a product from National Life Group, which is our flagship company. So pretty much your greatest asset is your ability to produce an income, right? So it's your ability, what you do to produce an income. Your second greatest asset is how well you can protect it. So we're going to get into life insurance, index universal life insurance. We have insurance on everything, right? We have insurance on all the things we care about. We have insurance on our TVs, our refrigerators, right? Our cars, all the things we care about. But we should also have insurance on ourselves, right? So we can protect ourselves and produce an income, right? And make a living, right? We can't make a living if we can't protect ourselves. All right, so we'll get into this illustration a little bit. So here's what this life insurance plan looks like, right? So you're going to start the policy by paying $156.65 a month. Now, worst case scenario, this individual and his family will have 500,000, yeah, around $500,000 saved up for them to, make sure everything is all right. Now, if you needed money, if you needed, assistance with something, if you had an issue where, pretty much an emergency, financial emergency, you can access the money from your policy's cash value. You can withdraw from your policy's cash value, right? So here we have some example ages of 69, 74, 79, and 84. So if this individual here, at age 69, they have about $730,000 they could access tax free, right? Tax free. And we have some riders as well. We'll dive into the meats and potatoes of it. But if you can't produce an income, you don't have the ability to produce an income, pretty much, you can have access to some of this money here as well, tax free, right? So the time for this specific plan, you have a 20-year funding period, right? The capital, right, is $156 a month. The rate of return, it can be anywhere between 6.42% and 15.88%, right? So that rate right there is beating inflation. We have took care of inflation, right? So we can wipe that off the board. We don't need to worry about that anymore. Now the taxes. The taxes is tax advantage. So like we said, we don't have to worry about taxes because this money is not being taxed. This money that has compound, that is grew through compound interest, it is not being taxed. So, oh yeah, and the inflation rate. Yep, like we said, it supersedes the current inflation rate. All right. So right here we have pretty much some information that lets you know with life insurance, there are some like negative connotations that state, I can only use my life insurance if I pass away or if I'm no longer here. But that's not the case. That right there is just a myth. Might be somebody telling you about like a term policy or something like that, right? This is a little different. This product is a little different. It's pretty much like a savings account on steroids, right? Right. All righty. But yeah, life insurance, you don't have to die to use it, right? It's compounding interest on a point-to-point index, right? Indexing, like we said, we don't participate in any losses. The money only goes up or it plateaus. So you will not lose any money. Warren Buffett said the number one rule is make sure you
never lose money.
All right. All right. All right. Appreciate that, Mr. Samad. All right, let's get back into it. So the wealth formula strategy, pretty much, here, I won't be too long with this right here, but we have, some hypothetical returns by the strategy that we just looked at. So one thing I want to point out is right here on this US Pacesetter Index, the name doesn't matter, but just look at the percentages, right? So right here it's up, right here it's up, right here it's up, in 2008, right, when there was a huge crash just in the economy, right, in 2008, the a lot of people lost money around this time, right? But if you had your money in an indexed policy, you would have not lost any money, right? You would have just plateaued. Same thing here, back in 2022, we'll fast forward. That was around COVID, right? Think the economy is pretty much getting back on its feet. So in this instance, while people were losing money, we if we had our money in this policy right here, we didn't lose a dime, right? And that's valuable. All right, so let's fast forward a little bit. So that's the wealth formula, guys. That's the wealth formula. I hope that was valuable for you. I want to let you all know who's qualified to work with us, right? We are licensed financial professionals, right? We have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that we take care of you and find a solution that fits your criteria and your needs perfectly. We customize a strategy that works for you, and we meet with our clients every 6 months to guide and coach them on their financial goals, right? So the secret is out, everybody. That's the wealth formula. If you were locked in, put some ones in the chat, right? Put some fire emojis in the chat. Also, if you're going to apply this information, right? If you're going to tell a friend to tell a friend about this information, put some ones in the chat, right? This is something that we all should know, and we should all be applying it. This shouldn't go in one ear and out the other. It should be applied in our daily lives. I know a lot of us are doing just that, but for the ones that were invited to this call, please tell the person that invited you, get back with them. Make sure you communicate with them, tell them how the presentation went, and tell them if you are interested in doing something like this, right? We could always get you, plugged in. And if you have a passion about this and you want to help pretty much cure financial cancer, join the team. All right. So with that being said, everybody, it was a pleasure to serve. I hope that was valuable, and I will see you all next week on the Wealth Formula.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, KJ.
Thank you.
Thank you.